All right. Good on that. Shalom, Yabba Shabbat. What's going on in the car, y'all? Bear with me. All right. Shalom, Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. We give young brothers and sisters a second. If y'all can like and share the class, let everybody know we live. Baba Kashan, like and share the class, let everybody know we live. We're going to be getting right on into it. Tonight is going to be a continuation of the breakdown that we started last night pertaining to the life of Joseph and the honorable, noteworthy story of his endurance and perseverance in the face of adversity to stand with the Most High. And tonight we're going to get to the end all of the situation, show you what exactly turned out, how exactly it is that it turned out for Joseph at the end of his story. Started yesterday's class by acknowledging that the story of Joseph was the story of Israel, and it's very poignant to be able to end um, this breakdown, that we started yesterday. So we're gonna get on into it in a second. Let's see if everybody could just like and share the class. Let's see something on here. I'm gonna do what I'm asking y'all to do. Go ahead and like and share the class myself. All right. Share now. There we go. All right. Shalom, you Israel, Yabashim Shabbat, all the brothers, Yahweh Shemal, Bashim, Yahweh shout all the sisters. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York, under command of General Yohana. Since 1969, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. So what we do with these classes is allow brothers and sisters the opportunity to go into this book that's called the Bible. Yes, this book right here, it's called the Bible. Many of you may be familiar with it. This is the King James Version. If you don't have one somewhere because of this modern technology, you definitely could download it on your cell phone. Or if you go to your grandmama's house or you got one of them old church mamas, I'm sure she got one laying around. Pick that Bible up, dust it off, open it up. And inside of this Bible is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has preserved from our ancestors for us to be able to receive in this day so that we can come back to being the people that he called us to be. And it's a very exciting time for those of us who the Lord has chosen to be able to hear his voice and to understand this knowledge and to receive the wisdom from the Most High, to be able to get back to living the lives that he intended for us to live from the beginning. There is a place on this earth for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and it is not the one that we are presently occupying. There is a role that we were meant to play on this earth, and we are not assuming the role that benefits us. A lot of the ways that we are living and a lot of the reputation that we have and the role that we've played on the earth is largely due to a lack of knowledge and a lack of understanding what it is that we are meant to do. We've been caught up in religions and philosophies and doctrines and cultures of other nations that benefit other nations. And it is the reason why they have been allowed to rise above us and we have come down so low. You know, being in the truth, there are times where things can be bittersweet because while you know the knowledge of the Most High and you know the truth and you're living righteously, you look at all your brothers and sisters who don't have this knowledge and your heart goes out to them because they're just so lost and so confused and just so not, understanding anything about the life that they are living or what they're supposed to, the life that they're living and the life that they're supposed to be living. You understand? Why do I say that? I say that because in 2023, for a devil like Jerry Springer to die, and black people on the internet pour their hearts and their spirits out about this devil dying and how much they gonna miss him and they appreciated his show. It's like, how could you, as being black in 2023, not have a blood curdling anger towards the life of a devil like Jerry Springer? Like, being the age that I am, I remember Jerry Springer's show before Jerry Springer began to openly berate, belittle, and make caricatures out of black people. I remember Jerry Springer's show before it was Baby Mama Drama, and it was Maury was You Are Not the Father. Jerry Springer was just had such a ratchet, disgusting television program, and just embarrassed and shamed and belittled black people. And to see him finally die is like, man, thank the Most High for taking this evil bastard out. And you would, being in the truth, you would think that you think sometimes that everybody thinks like you. You think that sometimes everybody sees things the way you see it. But to go on the internet and see black people just celebrating Jerry Springer and so having such fond memories of him and his show is like, what kind of world are y'all living in, bruh? Jerry Springer was absolutely disgusted and evil and shamed black people on a regular. Had an entire like Jerry Springer's show was not popular at all until he started getting black people on there to fight and embarrass themselves and shame themselves and all kind of nasty, horrible, incestuous, undignified, sexually deviant behavior was acceptable on his show. You look around today and you look at, the LGBTQ and a lot of the evil that's being accepted in society right now. Jerry Springer was a major catalyst for a lot of that. Jerry Springer was largely the reason why there became a stigma or reputation in the black community for black homosexuals lying and hiding. Like the whole DL thing was made famous by Jerry Springer. I didn't know that there was so many homosexually closeted black men until Jerry Springer's show. Like I didn't know so many whores among us in terms of women just having sex and not even having no idea who the father is. I didn't even know that a lot of men having unprotected sex with a woman was a thing until Jerry Springer and Maury Povich made it like everybody was just doing it. And for you to celebrate his death and be sad about him is, oh God, where are you? Why aren't you in here learning this truth and understanding what's really going on? Jerry Springer was absolutely evil and disgusting, and like Officer Karyala said, profited through our exploitation. Completely denigrated and shamed black people on a regular and made millions because of it. He dies and you're sad? That's crazy. Excuse my language. That's crazy. But that's the beautiful thing about being in the truth is you get to understand things that the average person doesn't see. There's a lot of blinders that our people have on spiritually to where they're not able to really see what's actually taking place. But coming into the truth frees you from the lies and the propaganda. It frees you from the what's the word I'm looking for? The utopian idea. A lot of black people have a view of the world where it's like, nah, man, Jerry Springer was just it was a good show, man. It was entertainment. Nah, it was just fun. He wasn't shaming black people. There was some crazy white people on there too. Oh man, brother, see, y'all be thinking everything too deep. That's someone in the world. They're blind to seeing what's really going on. They don't even have the conscience of this is completely embarrassing and shameful and evil towards our people. Like a lot of black people are gullible. You know, they're naive. They're just like, oh nah, man, that's good fun. It's good mindless entertainment. Oh nah, man, basketball wives. Nah, man, it's just some women. They be trying to get money, man. They just be on there arguing, man. Nah, it's okay. My woman, why? Nah, it's good, man. I like they run around, man. They be arguing. You don't even realize that they're programming your woman to be this way towards you. You let you and your woman sit around watching basketball wives. You don't realize this is programming. This is teaching. They're putting something into your woman. They're introducing something into your life that is absolutely horrible and disgusting and is going to be the reason why your woman cheats and leaves you and never looks at you like you're the man that she should honor because you ain't the basketball husband. Like what? But you being spiritually blind and unaware, you don't even realize that that's what's taking place. You know what I'm saying? I thank the Most High for the truth because the truth allows us to be able to see what's really going on. And that takes the blinders, it lifts the veil off your eyes. And that's what's important is General Hyman broke it down last week. I know y'all hear me read the scripture a lot, but in Second Thessalonians, the second chapter, in the fourth verse, it's the third verse when it talks about Christ not returning until there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed. That falling away is those blinders being lifted. That falling away is that spiritual covering that doesn't allow you to see the world for what it is being removed. And now you have to see the brutal, harsh, ugly truth. The world has to come to a realization that the Lord has allowed us to come to already, which is that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, or else Christ can't return. And the only way that man of sin is revealed is through these teachings, is through breaking down these current events and showing you what's happening in the world and allowing you to see Jerry Springer was absolutely an evil, disgusting devil who hated black and brown people and utilized his platform to shame us, embarrass us, mock us, make fun of us, and create a reputation for the rest of the world that these people are completely, immoral. These people are completely disgusting and vile, and they're just sexual deviants who lie and cheat and steal and rob and kill, and they'll bring you on television, fly you out from to Connecticut from wherever they live, and then come on the television show and tell you that this person you've been having sex with for the past 2 years, I'm a man. It's a woman, this bitch on there, I'm a man. And then now the nigga is embarrassed nationally and goes to fight the man who he thought was a woman. And it's on tele, man. Jerry Springer's evil as hell. Jerry Springer's evil as hell. Today was a great day. The Most High finally took that devil out. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. I'm gonna have a drink to that. But to see black people on the internet just, oh, we lost a good one. Oh, I'm gonna miss his show. Man, I had some good times with that Jerry Springer. Ugh, you're disgusting. Moving on. Tonight's class is titled When the End Justifies the Means. It's a continuation of a class that was taught yesterday titled It's All Good, All of It. Yesterday's class was primarily focused on Romans, the 8th chapter, the 28th verse. And it was the story of the life of Joseph, who was the 11th born son of a man named Israel. I incorrectly spoke yesterday, said he was his last born son. Also, yesterday, I said he was the 7th born son, and that was a clerical error. I mixed up Jacob with my grandfather. My grandfather had 7 children, so that's why when I was teaching the class, I said that Joseph was the 7th born son. He was actually the 11th born son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. After Joseph, he had a brother named Benjamin, who his father had. All right. I believe, I'm gonna make sure that as we get into the last part of this scripture, I believe it was Joseph. Then after Joseph was gone, Benjamin was born. Could be the other way around, but we're gonna get into it tonight. We're gonna finish the story of Joseph, picking up in Genesis, the 41st chapter. I want to say, um, during the time after Joseph rose to prominence and power in the land of Egypt, in the house of Pharaoh, because he was able to interpret the dream that Pharaoh had. All right. So I'm reading here now. Yes, it's Genesis, the 41st chapter. All right. All right. The brother of Karyala said the evil bitch Carolyn Bryant died today too. The one that got Emmett Till killed. Yeah. Barakatah Yahweh shot for the death of that devil, but I don't even. She got to live a good life and die a good death. That's not good enough. I'll drink to the day she's born back in the earth in the kingdom of heaven, where she is forced to pay for the evil that she did in lying about Emmett Till, whistling at her, and then having that brother get murdered in such a brutal way. Then the devil sat on the lie for, 60, 70 years and then thought that she was redeeming herself by coming out with the truth. Damn that devil. You understand? She lived a good full life, but it's okay because the Most High, who was the Father and the power in heaven, there is no escaping his hands. So she will be back in the earth and she will be dealt with righteously for the evil that she committed in this lifetime. Everybody understand? So we're gonna go ahead to Genesis, the 41st chapter. And let me see. Um, this is Genesis 41 and 45. All right. This is Genesis chapter 41. And we're starting at verse 45. So this is after Pharaoh had a dream that troubled him, and a dream that could not be interpreted by any of his magicians and his wise men. The butler, who was the head of all the butlers that served at Pharaoh's right hand, remembered, damn, there was a nigga I was locked up with that was able to able to interpret my dream for me. And after 2 years of being locked up, well, Joseph was locked up for some time, but 2 years after he had told a cat who was getting released, "Hey man, don't forget about me when you get out." The cat finally remembered Joseph, and he said to Pharaoh, "There's a man that lives in there's a man that's locked up. You know what I'm saying, here in the capital, man. This cat interpreted my dream. Perhaps he could help Pharaoh out. You go find that man." They found Joseph. The Bible says they shaved him and cleaned him up because it was the custom of the Egyptians to be bald and shaven, and it was the custom of the Hebrews to have hair and be manly. They cleaned Joseph up, brought him before Pharaoh. Pharaoh told him the dream. Joseph interpreted the dream. Through the power of the Most High, he was able to propel Pharaoh and Egypt into such a seat of prominence and riches and wealth and glory in the earth that Pharaoh rewarded Joseph by putting him in charge of all the operations of Egypt, basically made Joseph second in command. Everybody understand? So being made second in command is where we're picking up here in Joseph, and just like in Genesis 41 and 45. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zophnath Paaneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. All right. Verse 46. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. Now, Joseph was 30 years old when he rose to prominence in Egypt, right? Joseph was 17 the day his brothers sold him into slavery. So Joseph went 13 years away from his family before he rose to power as the second in command of Egypt. So everything we covered yesterday was a 13-year time period But Joseph was sold into slavery, was in the house of Potiphar, helped Potiphar get rich and get wealth, and became the second in command in Potiphar's house. Then he caught that rape charge, went to jail, was locked up, met the butler, prophesied his dream, told the butler, man, listen, don't forget about me when you get released. The butler got released, forgot about him for 2 years. Then Joseph was set free. So we don't know when Joseph caught the rape beef, but between the time he was sold into captivity to when he caught the rape beef, Joseph was 28. Then he was 30 when he rose to power in Egypt. All right. So that's a 13-year time gap. Verse 47. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, meaning he numbered too much. He couldn't count anymore. He counted all the corn he could till there was so much corn he couldn't even count. All right. For it was without number. Without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine. Before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. For the Most High, he said, has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for the Most High has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Everybody understands? Manasseh, for the Most High has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Meaning this son has made me forget all the pain and all the hurt. This son has healed me from all the trauma that I've experienced. That's what Joseph went through with the birth of his first son, Manasseh. With the birth of his second son, Ephraim, the Most High caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Even though I'm in hell, even though I'm in this place where I was sent to be tormented, the Most High has allowed me to be fruitful. And that's where the names of Manasseh and Ephraim come from. Another thing that's important to consider about this story with Joseph in his time in the land of Egypt, during the days of plenteousness in Egypt, Joseph didn't go stunt and ball out of control and blow all the money he had just because he had money in his account, just because they was getting, all these wealth of riches and harvest. He didn't just say, well, hey, we got a whole bunch of food, man. Let's go ahead and eat up. Let's go ahead and throw parties and barbecues and just waste the food we get. This also is a story of not everybody has the power to see into the future the way that the Lord gave to Joseph. But not all the times that you have seasons of plenty should you just fill yourself because of the abundance of what you have. Oftentimes, when you're going through a period of having abundance or having more than what you need, plan for the time when you're not going to have it. Plan for the time when things go back to normal. Like could have been a powerful lesson for a lot of brothers and sisters during the time of that pandemic. I know when that pandemic was going on and them checks was coming in every week, everybody was blowing that money. Ooh, we had a good time in 2020. Everybody was taking trips and vacations and renting Turo cars with the drop top. You know what I'm saying? Down there in Houston, brothers had the brothers had this whip with the stars in the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we had us a good time in 2020. And look at us now, 2023. Everybody broke. Everybody's sad and barely getting by. Oh, yeah, if only we knew. 2020, yeah, we should have did what Joseph did and stacked that bread. I could use some of that right now. But it's a lesson to be learned and understanding that the times when the Lord is blessing you abundantly, maybe you should stack it up and sit it down to prepare for the time when the Lord retracts a bit. Everybody understands. We're going to keep on. Genesis chapter 41, verse 53. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended. And the 7 years of dearth began to come according as Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he says to you, do. And the famine was all over the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. So this vision the Lord showed to Joseph enabled him to be in a prime position to be the man with all the work in the time of the drought. That's a street reference. But to be the only one with resources in a time when no one else has them means you're in a position to name your price. And if there's nowhere else for anybody to go, then they have no choice but to make you rich. And when you learn about the wealth of Egypt and the greatness of Egypt, and Egypt being on the map as such a huge power and a great empire on the earth, this is the time when Egypt shined. Because everyone had to come down to Egypt for food and resources. And Joseph was the reason that Egypt was made great. Because Joseph was the man on the earth at that time that the Lord was dealing with. Joseph was the man on the earth at that time that the Most High had given the understanding and the interpretation of dreams. That everything that Joseph touched, it was made greater because of the favor and the grace that the Most High had on Joseph. Even though Joseph went through all that trauma, even though Joseph had been sold into captivity, even though Joseph had caught a false rape charge, the Most High was always with Joseph, and anywhere Joseph was, the people who came in contact with him, they were blessed by his presence. Now we're in Genesis chapter 42 and verse 1. Now when Jacob saw, now who's Jacob? Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes. Jacob is in the midst of this famine. And we're going to read. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And okay, so we started yesterday talking about Jacob and talking about Joseph. Joseph was his youngest son at the time, and all his other brothers hated him because he was the youngest, and his father loved him. Father bought him this beautiful coat. And I kind of alluded yesterday in the class to the brothers hating Joseph because they had been treated differently by their father. He was treated differently by their father than the rest of them were. And I talked about how Jacob was a brother in the scriptures. This man wrestled with an angel. This wasn't no soft, kind-hearted, guy. This is a rough brother. He had a dream, had a vision of an angel coming to visit him. That nigga fought the angel. Jacob was a hardcore man. You understand? Jacob had endured a lot of hardship and trouble taking the blessing of the Most High from his, receiving the blessing of rulership of the earth and being the recipient of the wealth and the riches of the Most High that he had been inherited from his father Isaac, who had received it from his father Abraham. This was a very spiritually inclined and aware brother that had sacrificed and fought hard and was diligently in being honorable and righteous towards the wishes of his father and doing the things that he did in his life. Jacob was a man that, went and worked 14 years for one wife, all because he did what his father said to do, which was to go and get a wife from the land of his mother and father. And when he got there, the uncle who had made a deal with their father, Laban made a deal with Isaac that he was going to marry two of his daughters off to Jacob's sons. But only to Isaac's sons. But only one of Isaac's sons showed up to work the 7 years that was agreed upon for his wife. Well, in Laban's eyes, I don't give a damn who shows up. I know I got a deal for both my daughters to be married, and I'm getting 7 years of work for each of my daughters. So at the end of the 7 years, the deal was supposed, in Jacob's eyes, the deal was I'm going to get Rachel. Laban said, listen, nigga, you work 7 years. My oldest daughter got to get married off first. He sent his oldest daughter into that bedchamber with Jacob. Jacob slept with her, woke up the next day. Hold up, Unc, this ain't the wife that I was supposed to get. Laban said, listen, man, I made a deal with your pops for both my daughters to get married, and there's no way I was going to marry my youngest daughter off first. Why did Jacob get stuck having to marry Laban's other daughters? Rachel and what's the other wife's name? Somebody help me out. Leah. He wanted Rachel, married Leah. He didn't want Leah. That wasn't the wife that was promised to him. Why did Jacob have to marry Leah? Why, in Laban's eyes, why was it right that Jacob married Leah? In Laban's eyes, I made a deal for both my daughters to get married. Isaac's oldest boy is supposed to marry my oldest daughter. His youngest son is supposed to marry my youngest daughter. That's why Jacob was supposed to marry Rachel. Esau was supposed to marry Leah. But out of Isaac's two sons, who was the righteous one? Who was the honorable one? Who was the one that obeyed his father's words and did what his father said to do and kept the promises that his father made? Jacob was the only one. Esau never showed up to Laban's house. Esau wasn't finna work no 7 years for no woman. For what? It's Ishmael. There's daughters of Ishmael out here and daughters of Canaan where I live. Why the hell would I travel all the way back to where my mother and father from to work 7 years for an uncle to get a wife that I don't even want? Esau didn't have any honor. Esau didn't respect his father. Jacob did, though. So Jacob worked them 7 years. Laban said, listen, nigga, I need 14 years of work for both my daughters. Gave her Leah. That's why Jacob didn't protest or argue in the scriptures when he woke up the next morning. He came to Laban and said, man, what's going on, man? I'm supposed to have been getting Rachel. Laban said, listen, it would have been wrong for me to marry my youngest daughter off first. If Laban would have let Rachel go in that tent, the next morning, Jacob would have woke up and been like, well, I got what I wanted. I'm gone, Unc. I'm going to holler at you. And Laban would have been shorted 7 years of work for one of his daughters. So Laban said, nah, go ahead, Leah, you go in there. And Jacob, after having Leah, kept her because he didn't have a choice, but he really wanted Rachel. Laban said, listen, man, you got another 7 years ahead of you. Jacob worked them 7 years because this was a man who was honorable and righteous and dignified. And he wouldn't shame his father's word by not following through on the deal that his father had made. This is the man who was the father of these 12 tribes. This is the man who was the father now, of these sons he had from these 4 different women. I said all of that to say Jacob was a rough man who lived a rough life, who lived a very disciplined life. And I can only imagine what it was like for those boys growing up in those early years of Jacob being a man and having a wife. And I can imagine the treatment towards those first few sons from Leah may have been different than the way he treated the sons that he had with Rachel. Now, that's the scripture doesn't say anything about that. That's just me reading into the situation a little bit. But I want you to pay attention to the language here in Genesis 42 of Jacob speaking to these sons. And when you read the Bible and you read these words, you have to see the spirit on what's being said. So again, Genesis 42:1. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look one upon another? How did that conversation go to Jacob and all his sons? What the hell is the matter with you niggas sitting around here, man? Don't you see it's a famine out here? Why y'all sitting around looking at each other like that's going to solve the problem? Which one of y'all niggas finna go do something about us about to starve to death, man? Why y'all sitting around looking at each other? What the hell's the matter with y'all boys? This is the conversation of a father to his 11 sons who's sitting around and ain't doing nothing about the goddamn starvation and famine that's happening in the land. This isn't a, hey, sons, why are you looking at each other? This is what the hell is the matter with y'all? Why y'all sitting around twiddling your thumbs? There's other things the father would say, I know in my family. You know what I'm saying? He's just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. I'm going to leave it at that. There's other things you sit around doing that you should be doing something purposeful, meaningful with your hands. You sitting around here doing nothing. Get up and go do something. That's what Jacob is saying to his sons. Verse 2. And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence that we may live and not die. Listen, man, the streets are saying they got corn in Egypt. Somebody get down there and buy something so we don't die. You clowns, you sitting right in that doing the damn thing. Go get some food. Niggas, we're starving to death. It's a famine. We finna run out of stuff to eat. Y'all sitting around here twiddling your thumbs. Go down there to Egypt and buy some corn. Verse 3. And Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brothers. For he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. So all the 10 brothers were sent. But the youngest boy, Benjamin, Jacob kept with him. Because Jacob said, God forbid something happened to Benjamin like it happened to my other son, Joseph. I'm not letting him go. Everybody understands. Verse 5, and the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces towards the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them, and said unto them, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brothers, and they knew him not. And Joseph remembered the dream which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, ye are spies. To see the nakedness of the land ye are come. Now Joseph remembered the dream. Does anybody remember the dream Joseph had? In Genesis, the 37th chapter, when Joseph was just a boy, he dreamed a dream. A dream where his brothers' chiefs bowed down to his. His chief rose up strong and tall. And then his brother said, nigga, what you trying to say? You think we're going to bow down to you one day? You think you somebody special, little nigga? Joseph didn't think anything. He just was a man who had a dream. A dream that he didn't understand, but God gave the interpretation to his brothers. Then he dreamed another dream. And when he told it to his family, his mother, his father, and his brothers all looked at him and said, what you talking about? This dream. You understand? Joseph had rose to power in Egypt, and his chief was strong and tall, and his brother's chief had come bowing to him for a little bit of what he had could be put into their chief. Everybody understands? And then remembering this, Jacob spoke rough to them and said, y'all niggas are spies. Y'all come to try and rob us. You come to try and steal from the land of Egypt. You are some plotting niggas. He's speaking to them in the language of the Egyptians. Imagine Israelite 10 black brothers coming down to the land of Africa to buy something. And you go before, you seeing this African deal with all these other people. And then you come before them and you say, yeah, man, we came to buy some corn. And he go, you don't know what he's saying, but you could tell the spirit on it is this nigga's angry at us. Why he talking rough to us? What the fuck we do? African booty scratcher, why you mad at us? That's what the scene was. He's standing there before them with a mean African look on his face, and he talking real hard to them. Everybody understands. Genesis 42:10. And they said unto him, nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We ain't, man. Hey, we just came to buy some food, man. We ain't on no funny stuff. We ain't on that type of time. Verse 11, we are all one man's son. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. Nah, man, we honest men. We are father's sons, man. We ain't no spies. We ain't on nothing crooked. We some good people, man. Verse 12, and he said unto them, nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. Verse 13, and they said, and these are all the sons of Israel speaking, They said, thy servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. Oh, we're 12 sons. Our youngest brother's with our father, and we have one brother that's no longer with us. He died. He suffered a tragic loss years ago. They're saying this to the man who knows that they're lying because the brother they thought that is not is the one who's standing before them, calling them spies. Verse 14, and Joseph said unto them, that is it that I spake unto you, saying, ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Y'all not going anywhere unless your youngest brother comes. By the life of Pharaoh, meaning, man, what do they say in court before they sentence you? That's what it was. This was he judged them by the power given to me by Pharaoh. Y'all are going to remain in prison until your youngest brother comes, and by that you'll be proved not to be liars. Verse 16, send one of you and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies. Either you bring that youngest brother here, or y'all going to stay in prison forever because you are spies and you are liars. Verse 17, and put them all together inward 3 days. I mean, he's put them in jail for 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the third day, this do and live, for I fear the Most High. Here's the deal. This is what y'all can do if you want to live, because I'm an honorable man. I fear the Most High. Verse 19, if ye be true men, let one of your brothers be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. Everybody understands? They said, man, now they realized the evil that they had done to their little brother. You see, man, the evil we did to our little brother, man, and the pain that we saw on his face when we left him in that ditch or when we sold him to those Midianites, man, now it's coming back, man. I knew the day was going to come we was going to have to deal with this. I knew the day was going to come the Lord was going to pay us back for doing what we did to our little brother. It's one of them brothers, the one that had a conscience, saying to the rest of them now, see, man, I knew it, man. Y'all niggas is evil, man. I knew we shouldn't have did that shit, man. Now look at us, man. Y'all niggas got us into this shit, man. Now we gonna die, man. We gonna starve, man. All because y'all niggas wanted to be evil. Now, nigga got a voice. Now you want to speak up. Where was your sadness and crying when they was plotting to kill Joseph? You understand? The sister Shabbat said it probably was Reuben. It probably was Reuben. You know what I'm saying? Oh, now he got a goddamn heart and a conscience. But remember, though, Reuben didn't know that they had sold Joseph. You know what I'm saying? Reuben just knew that they put him in a ditch, and he came to find the ditch, and he was gone. Reuben didn't know that they had sold Joseph. You know what I'm saying? But one of the brothers is now checking the rest of them for the evil they did. And I knew it was gonna come back to bite us one day. And now look at what happened to us because of what you niggas did, man. God is against us, man. You understand? Verse 22. And Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you? Well, it wasn't Reuben ain't the one crying, because Reuben the one that's answering the crier. You understand? And Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. Listen, his blood is his suffering, his death is the reason why we are going to die. Because you niggas was evil, man, and would not hear. Verse 24, and he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. So Reuben made the decision. Reuben made the decision that Simeon was the brother they were going to leave in prison. You understand? Which maybe is could allude to Simeon being one of the ones that was plotting evil against Joseph. Who knows? I'm adding that. I don't know if that's the case. But Reuben, being the oldest brother, had to choose which one we're gonna leave behind. He chose Simeon, bound him, and said, Simeon gonna stay here in this prison. Verse 25. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender, in the end he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God has done unto us? Because Joseph put the money in a sack without them knowing. They had paid for the corn. But when they go to leave, the corn is there, but also all their money is back inside of their sacks. So now it looks like they just came and stole corn from Egypt. And when one of the brothers goes in and finds the money, he's like, yo, the money is in my sack. The rest of them is like, yo, please, Lord, what is happening? Did you just make us to seem like thieves before these Egyptians? This is crazy. Nigga, why did you steal the money? Nigga, you stole some money? Nigga, I didn't do it. How we gonna explain this? Now they panicking. Genesis 42 and 29. And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who was the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brothers, sons of one father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me, then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, me have ye bereaved of my children. Man, y'all niggas done caused me to mourn for my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. Man, y'all niggas have caused me so much grief over these goddamn boys. Joseph is dead, Simeon is in prison, and now y'all want to take Benjamin? What the hell are y'all doing to me, man? This is their father, angry as hell, mad as hell, because you niggas and your mischief, you always just doing something, man. You can't just be right. Why can't you boys just do right by me? Verse 37, and Reuben spake unto his father, saying, slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. And he said, my son shall, Reuben said, man, listen, Pops, kill my 2 sons if I don't bring them back. If something happened to the boy, kill my 2 sons. I'll be as you. I'll be as a man who lost 2 sons if I don't bring Benjamin back. Verse 38, and he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. Benjamin and Joseph were brothers. Benjamin had already suffered the loss of Joseph. Jacob wasn't going to allow Benjamin to go through any more of that. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. It'll kill me if something happened to Benjamin. Let's not forget, Joseph and Benjamin were the two sons born to Rachel, the woman who Jacob really loved. That's part of the reason why they were his favorite sons, becoming Joseph was his favorite son, because after all them 14 years of hard work, he finally tore into that Rachel. Ooh, we finally got a piece of Rachel. Ugh, and he had Joseph and Benjamin. Everybody understands. Genesis 43:1. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go. And the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face except your brother be with you. Listen, Pops, the nigga told us, man, we can't come back down there. Now, if you send Benjamin with us, we'll go. But if you ain't sending Benjamin with us, man, I ain't going no goddamn where. Showing you the spirit on these sons. They were not the good, quiet, honorable, yes, father sons that a man wants. Everybody understands. Verse 6, And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? Why did y'all even, what the hell made y'all even tell a nigga you had a brother? Why would you do that to me? Verse 7, And they said, The man asked us straightly of our state, and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? Which means the conversation that we read earlier about Joseph and these sons and the rest of his brothers was a little bit more than what we read. It was a little bit of nuance to the conversation that we didn't get previously. He actually questioned them. Tell me about yourselves. Where y'all from? Is your father alive? You got any other brothers? Why is it just 10 of y'all? Where's the rest of the family? Is this all? Oh, y'all got another brother, huh? Joseph already knows the answers to these questions. He's asking them to see if they're going to be honest, to see what they're going to say. So Joseph already knows all the answers to the questions he needs, because in them being afraid, them niggas talk real straight to the police. You understand? They wasn't lying or hiding anything. They was trying to be honorable men. Genesis 43, middle verse 7. Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him, of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned the second time. If we had already went down there, I could have came back the second time already. We done lingered and been sitting around here because we scared. Man, let me take the boy down there. I'll make sure he come back. I'll make sure we get what we need. And if not, you can blame me, Pops. Now Reuben and Judah trying to be the ones that their father trust the most, when you niggas was the ones that didn't do a damn thing when your brothers wanted to kill Joseph. Don't try to be all honorable now, nigga. You wasn't honorable before. But that's Israel. Niggas don't do the right thing the first time. Then when they back against the wall, then when the trouble coming, now nigga want to stand up and I'll take the charge, man. I got it out. You know what I'm saying? You go be free, man. Man, nigga, you should have just not had me selling dope in the first place. Don't tell me you're gonna take the charge, nigga, after we done been through hell and facing life in prison. Now you honorable because you're gonna take the charge. How about you never got me selling dope? that's these brothers. You understand? Genesis 43:11. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, Carry it again in your hand, peradventure it was an oversight. Take also your brother and arise, go again unto the man. And the most high power give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, bring these men home and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. He said, go and make a feast ready for these brothers, because they're going to eat with me at noon. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time, are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house and said, oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass when we came to the end that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And the other money we have brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, peace be to you. Fear not. Your power and the power of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph, came at noon, for they heard that he should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive? And they answered, thy servant our father is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, is this your younger brother, of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. He had to leave from before them, because the moment had gotten too real for him. All the emotions and all of the longing and the missing his brothers, he couldn't take it, man. He had to get from before them to cry. Verse 31, and he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, sit on bread. So he went back out there before them, washed his face, straightened up, came out and said, come on, man, let's eat. Verse 32, and they sat on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with them by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. So when they all sat down to eat, the Egyptians that was present was in one area, Joseph was in one area, and the rest of the brothers was in another area, because it was against the custom of the Egyptians to sit down and eat with other nations. They had segregation in Egypt. So they, even though they all in Joseph's house, they were segregated, because that was how Egypt was, just like it was in America. You had a banquet that the president invited black people to. The niggas sat on one side of the room and ate, and all the white people sat on another side of the room. It's not unusual. That's the Bible showing you the culture and the climate of Egypt at the time. Verse 33, and they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. They all sat in rank and order. Everybody understands, from the oldest to the youngest. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. So everybody ate and drank, but Benjamin got 5 times more than everybody else. And verse Genesis 44:1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sack with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were when they were gone out of the city and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in doing so. So Joseph set them up. He let them leave. Packed up their horses, made sure they had all the food they could take, make sure they had all their money. But he took his cup and stashed it in Benjamin's sack to make it seem like Benjamin had stolen. Then gave his steward the command, when you pull up on them, act like you found the cup and blame them for stealing and being evil. You understand? Genesis 44:7. And he said unto him, wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servant should do according to this thing. Behold behold the money which we found in our sacks' mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. They say, nigga, we ain't steal nothing. Why would we steal something? We brought the money from the last time. We honorable men. Nobody wouldn't steal nothing from you. Listen, man, you find something, whatever you find, whoever you find it on, kill that nigga, and the rest of us will go to jail. Verse 10. And he said, now, also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? Didn't y'all know that I would catch you? Didn't you know that I would know that you stole from me? Verse 16, and Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak, or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we, and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. And remember, Jacob sent them saying, you can't not come back with Benjamin. If anything happens to Benjamin, I will die of old age. So Judah put his life on the line for Benjamin, said he would be a surety for Benjamin. Verse 18, then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servant, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou said unto thy servants, bring him down unto me, that I may set eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou said unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came unto thy servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother be with us. Then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant, my father, said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if you take this also from me in mischief before him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. So he's explaining to him now, you send us back without this boy, man, it's going to kill our father. Because our father made us promise that we wouldn't come back without him. Please, I know we messed up. I know the cup was stolen, but you can't send us back without the little boy. I don't want to have to bury my father. Please, man. He's pleading with the Lord of Pharaoh's house, not knowing it's Joseph, his little brother, who he made the decision to sell to the Midianites into captivity. Genesis 44:32. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my lord, and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father? Everybody understands? Genesis 45:1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, because every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him while Joseph made himself known unto his brothers. So Joseph couldn't take it no more. He yelled out, everybody out of here, except for these 11 brothers. So everybody left. Then Joseph made himself known to his brothers. Verse 2, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Does my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brothers, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and yet are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me here, but God. And he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 28. This is trusting in the Most High and never allowing trauma or tragedy or being stabbed in the back, betrayed, abused, misused, lied on, dealt a raw deal, treated unfairly, stop you from obeying God and serving the Most High. Like everything that Joseph went through, at the end of the day, after having gone through it, Joseph was able to understand the Most High did all of this so that I would be able to save my brothers and my father's life. And let's go to Romans chapter 8, verse 28 right now. Romans chapter 8, verse 28 says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." So in this life of this man named Joseph and all the trouble that he experienced and all the trauma that he suffered and all the evil that had befallen him, because he loved the Most High and was called according to his purpose, everything that happened to Joseph in his life worked together for good. And at this time, it had been 21 years since he had seen his brothers last. And after 21 years being in captivity, living under these Egyptians and dealing with the loss of his family, Joseph was able to realize the Lord had all of this to happen so that I would be here right now to save my family. Genesis 45 and 9. "Haste ye and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith the son Joseph, the Most High has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me and tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children and thy children's children, and thy flocks and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither." And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all of his brothers and wept upon them. And after that, his brothers talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, "Joseph's brethren are come." And it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, "Say unto your brothers, This do ye: Lade your beasts and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. And take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give ye the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye: Take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours." And the children of Israel did so, and and Joseph gave them wagons, according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed, and he said unto them, "See that ye fall not out by the way." And they went up out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, "Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt." And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, "It is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die." Um, this story of Joseph, like I said at the start of class yesterday, is the story of Israel. We're people who are bound to be tested. We are people who are tied. I'm trying to find the right way to put this. We are a people who can never have it easy. Everything that we gain comes with a price of having to suffer first. The Most High has chosen us to be warriors and to be soldiers and to be um chosen us to be men. Joseph was a boy who had everything given to him because he was his father's youngest and his father's favorite, and the Lord was with him. And because of it, he was the envy of all his brothers. He was hated by all of them that came before him. And Joseph had to go through the trauma and the turmoil and the betrayal and the lies and the deceit and the prison and the poverty and the hopelessness, because that was his test. That was his trial by fire. That was his furnace of affliction. That was his proving ground. Because he endured and feared the Most High and never let anything that happened to him steal away the spirit that the Lord had given him, in the end, he earned his reward. The same can be said for our King Yahushua, and the same must be said for all of us who are in this hell, having suffered, having been through trauma, having been betrayed, having been stabbed in the back, having been let down, having been abused, having been misused, having been taken advantage of. And the Lord just wants to see if you are going to endure, if you are going to make it through your trial by fire, if you are going to survive your time in the furnace of affliction, if you are going to remain loyal to him despite how dark and how grim your days may get. If you love the Most High, if you have wisdom and you have understanding, if you believe, if you have faith, if you're a loyal servant, what will enable you to get through your darkest moments is the knowledge that all things work together for good to them that fear the Most High or love the Most High and are called according to his purpose. These scriptures aren't just feel-good stories. This Bible isn't a book of, feel-good anecdotes. The Bible is a historical and cultural record of one nation of people and their dealings with the Most High Power, designed to help facilitate each and every one of us to endure our battle and make it to the end of our fight so that we could stand with our heads held high before the Most High, having proved that we are every bit of the warrior and the soldier and the son and the daughter and the princess and the mother and the wife and the brother and the sister that he called us to be. And without these lessons and without this knowledge and without this understanding, there can be no Israel. There can be no kingdom of heaven. There can be no story written in the book of life if we don't go through what our brothers and sisters have always had to go through. With that, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is here on the earth. You brothers and sisters in Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, you got family, loved ones, people you care about, get them in contact with the ISUPK. School here in Memphis is at 3000 Walnut Grove Road. We have classes from 6 to 8, Tuesday through Thursday. The calling number is 901-249-0085. 901-249-0085. With that, brothers, sisters, like, share the class, subscribe. I'm gonna start putting out a lot more content on this ISUPK Memphis page. It would be a great help if brothers and sisters could share, could like, you know what I'm saying, the reels, the little shorts, whatever you see coming on from this channel, like and share it, and let brothers and sisters know that there's a place where they can come and learn the truth and add these sort of lessons to their lives so that they can become the people that the Lord called them to be. And with that, I'll see y'all Tuesday. Israel Shalom.